You got sound here? All right, here we go.
Saw you in the front yard, looking at flowers, just about dark. And I lined up my camera, tried to come close, but a fragment of time can only come close. Saw you, and you were in the backyard, talking with the neighbors and running them dogs. I scribbled some nonsense and tried to come close, but a handful of words can only come close.
Cool. Not bad. That was sweet. Yeah, we recorded the record at home in our basement. We got a little studio set up there. The whole ethos with this band from the start has been to kind of just do stuff rather than overthinking it. So I think that played into my desire to self-produce. I also just like doing it a lot. It's fun, so why not do it? It's a good opportunity to do it. But yeah, it's also just easier to kind of, when I have free time, go to the basement and knock something out. And we actually started recording stuff before Noah was even in the band. So there's a few tracks that I actually played drums on and some that Noah played drums on. So there's a bit of a mix-up. But yeah, kind of came together over the course of about a year, I think, maybe slightly less.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think under a year.
The Racecar is the oldest one, I think, because we just kind of did that as a one-off and then recorded that, or didn't re-record it, but just included it on the album. And a lot of the songs for Hey I'm Outside were sort of written and recorded at the same time, which is different than how I've worked in the past. And I'm not sure exactly why I started working that way, but
You
I
mean
guess-
like you're writing them as you're recording them? Like you don't have to fully
right.
realize
So there's
it.
no like, oh, I'm gonna write it and then we're gonna demo it and then we're gonna record it for
Right.
real. It's just kind of like, I mean, there's iPhone demos and stuff like, to save an idea, but I think since we were already recording at home, it's like, why not just
Yeah.
go
Well, and
for
there
it
are
if
some,
you're
like,
happy with the way it
The
sounds.
song Massachusetts, for example, I think the vocal take was literally the first time that you like sang it and recorded it, and we
Yeah.
assumed it would be a scratch.
I think I
take.
learned that one
Yeah, like we all
like
learned
day
it
of.
right
I
then.
just recorded it. rest of
But
the
yeah,
day.
and I think, and then when we listened back to it, we were like, actually, that was a pretty good vocal take. Just don't do it again.
Yeah. The first take magic is real.
Yeah.
If you are lucky enough not to make any egregious mistakes.
Do you think part of the reason that you wanted to do it like that is because you're scared of demoitis?
I'm not scared of it necessarily, but I think it's real. And I don't know if I would even call it demoitis. Sometimes it's more just that there is something special about the first time you record the song. So why not just let that exist rather than demoing again? Like a lot of times there'll be bands that they go into the studio and like re-record a song that maybe they already recorded on an EP or something because they think it needs to sound consistent with the rest of the album or something. But almost always the re-recording is worse than the original version, in my opinion. And I think that might partially just be, as from the listener's perspective, the version that you fall in love with is just the version that you know. And then when it's different, it's kind of like all the classic stuff. They got tired of playing it the way they played it before, so they're adding flourishes that don't need to be there or other random stuff like that. And so...
Hey, I'm Outside would never do that.
If you just record it straight, recording and kind of writing at the same time definitely avoids that issue.
I trust my instincts, but they mislead me sometimes. Lift up the window, it squeaks a little bit. I still can't see much out of it. I have my tendencies. They like to send me sideways sometimes. Well, it's hard to fight against it and change. But maybe I could meet you halfway. But they mislead me sometimes, like when I scrape by on the sidewalk 3 times, left without going inside. I have my tendencies. They aren't always helpful, it seems. Just ways to get by, habits, I guess, things I can't suppress. Scrambled transmissions from the bottom of the pit.
and I'm definitely the kind of primary songwriter in the band. So most stuff I just noodle on my guitar. It always kind of starts with guitar. I've never been able to start with lyrics. I might force myself to do that at some point just to see what happens, but it's way easier to start with music for me.
So you open up the voice memo app on your phone.
Right. And yeah, I got all kind of, like most people, fragments of ideas in voice memos, and eventually I normally just kind of like keep playing it. Like I'll return to voice memos and like play it and not really
A
record
lot of
it.
times, like the two of us will like sit together
true, yeah.
and he'll just play me all of the voice memos that he's like recorded in the last month or so, and then we just kind of like jam on them and try to see what sort of turns into something. So I feel like that's another way that they kind of get pushed to the next stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause usually that happens before you like will start writing lyrics. I guess because I don't know. In my perception, it's like lyrics are so hard that it's like, why even waste the effort unless
I certainly find it hard to write
unless
lyrics,
unless it's gonna be like a fully fleshed song. But
Right.
that's probably not a
But
good
then
way
at
to
a
think
certain
about
point, obviously, we got to set some lyrics down so we can finalize the structure and everything. But I think that's all pretty standard as far as how most people work. I don't think there's anything different about the way we write songs from, I don't know, what I know about how other people do it.
Yeah, so Patrick and I used to live in Texas, and we started a band called I Wish I Could Skateboard there with some of our friends. And we only, after starting the band, I think we played like 3 or 4 shows in Texas. We recorded an EP, and then like shortly after that, we moved up to Massachusetts. So that band was dormant for a while, but then we decided to start playing up here. Just recruited new members, and ended up still like writing kind of long distance with our friends back in Texas, and actually went back there to record at one point. So we were kind of doing this weird like long distance thing of like, different people being in the band, and we did that for a little while and did like a couple short tours. But then more and more the band like was based up here, I would say. But then why did we
stop?
stop that
Well,
band? Yeah.
Uh,
Just felt like it had run its course.
yeah, I mean, coming out of things being locked down with COVID, we played a few shows with I Wish I Could Skateboard, but I think I was just feeling that itch to kind of start from zero again and write songs with no kind of preconceptions of what they might be. And certainly I think where we landed is not necessarily that different. It's like guitar, rock music, but definitely pulling in more influences of stuff that my dad would play when I was a kid growing up, like, just country and blues and bluegrass and things like that. Not that our music is really any of those genres, but certainly like I see it as kind of taking what we used to do and other indie rock stuff and just putting a little bit of that flavor in there. So,
Yeah. I feel like I was a lot more hesitant to like burn it all down and start over than you were, because I don't know, it just felt like very sad.
But like even I wanted to like sometimes people start a new band, they just change their Instagram account. I didn't want to do that. I want to start from zero because I want to see.
I know,
like,
Patrick
okay,
was like,
can
we're starting from
like I don't want to just be
nothing.
like, oh well, all the
That
other
was
people. I'm
scary.
scared to like that no one's gonna like this band, so like I have to like not have to get all my old followers to like make sure they're all there. It's like if some of those people won't be interested in the new band, and that's fine. They don't have to follow the new band. I want to see how many people are like actually interested in my new band. So new account, 0 followers.
Day one, 0
Yeah,
followers.
and it started out just me and Hannah.
Yeah.
We played the first show we ever played was a Medford Porch Fest event at Deep Cuts, and we just played as a duo with
We
no
didn't even do
backing
it backing
or
track. It
anything.
was,
And it's funny because like I'm glad we're doing this video session because like those videos, somebody took some videos of us there, which is great. I'm it's awesome that somebody was interested enough to do that. But it's like the first performance ever with no drums, and it's just like this is still like some of the only footage of
That's
us
what
you can
comes
find
up
on
when you
YouTube.
search.
So it's like
Yeah.
we got to get some better stuff out there. So this is fantastic. And after that, we were like, all right, the energy is not really there with this duo thing, like, what can we do? So like, well, we have some EPs that we've been working on. I'm just going in and mute everything but the drums, and we'll put that on a backing track and play along to that. And we did that for a couple of shows. And then Noah saw us at one of those shows, and
It's like these people desperately need help. Let me
wanted
offer
to
my
take it from there,
services.
Yeah. Which show was that? Like what number?
That's a good question. I mean, it couldn't have been
Like
more than like
4, maybe.
5 or 6. Yeah, 4 or 5
Yeah,
or
I
6,
feel like it's
something like that. Yeah.
So it was really early on.
Very early, yeah.
Yeah, I was just in the crowd and they were playing along with a recording of a drummer, and I very awkwardly approached them after the show and then stalked
Wasn't
them.
that awkward?
It felt awkward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very out of my comfort zone. But I don't know. I really liked their music and had been looking to be in a band, and so it felt like a good opportunity. And yeah, kind of stalked you guys on Instagram for a few days, and then sent a message. And yeah, I think like the first time we all got together to actually play, like it just kind of clicked very quickly.
Yeah, it was immediately obvious. Like,
Yeah.
number one, this guy's a really good drummer, and number two, it's just like a really good fit as far as like playing style and personalities, and just
We didn't murder you when you came to our house.
I was nervous.
Were you
about that.
nervous?
Yeah. No, I was very nervous actually. Yeah.
but not for that reason.
Not about being murdered,
Okay.
for other
I
reasons.
decided not to murder you. So.
You decided?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Race car, traveling so far, nowhere at all. You push yourself so hard. Race car, screaming in the Florida sun. I hope you're the one who wins. I feel good, I feel happy in the sun. I feel good, I feel happy, I am one. It's okay, it's impossible to say. It's my time, it's my place. Race car, screaming in the dark, beautiful and harsh, contender. Your engine's running clear. It sounds so severe, like we want it to. You can make it through. I feel good, I feel happy in the dark. I feel good, I feel happy, I'm apart. It's okay, it's impossible to say. It's my time, it's my place.
We've been here a while. But we've been here like 10 years. But I wouldn't say like a culture shock necessarily. And And I mean, most of my like adult life now has been spent in Massachusetts. So it's a little bit hard to compare like my childhood, and I went to college in Georgia. So it's a little bit hard to compare like that to just like being like a working, living adult, I guess. So I never did that in Georgia. I only ever was like a child and a college student, and then right after that moved away. So not really a culture shock. I mean,
As far as like, I mean, one of the great things about moving up here was like where we lived in Texas was not a very big city, and
yeah.
there were very few bands for us to play with there, so we kind of ended
Yeah.
up playing with the same people over and over again, which they were cool people, and it was a really cool little music scene there. But obviously, it's completely different up here. There's so many talented bands, and
Yeah.
like there's new bands being formed constantly. So it's great to be part of an environment where there's just a lot more going on. And
Yeah, and I do feel like, yeah, there is like a sense of, I don't know, community and like people taking care of each other here more so. But again, it's a little bit hard to compare for me, I guess. Everyone says this, but driving is much harder. I mean, down there, the roads are just really big, and the signs are visible.
Yeah.
Here, there just aren't signs. We haven't really
2025,
Yeah.
we honestly don't really have very firm plans yet. We should have firmer plans, but
Should we talk about it right now?
yeah,
figure it
we
out
need to
now.
start writing more. We've started writing a little bit, but definitely want to record another album relatively soon. You know, I don't want to let that wait too long, and it just takes time to fully complete that process. So shouldn't let that linger too long. But we've only really started writing a couple songs. Got a lot of ideas, but definitely want to try to tour a bit more. We did a week-long thing this year, which was great. Still a good way to spread the word. And
Or just play more out of town
yeah, just
shows
play
in
more
general.
out-of-town shows in general. There's only so many times you can play in your hometown, and there's a lot of people that live in other places that we could play to. So if you're watching this and you want to see us, hit the
Get in
email.
touch. We will travel.
We will probably say yes. Yeah. No other real.
What else do bands do? They record, tour.
Yeah, what should we be doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm worried there's like one category of things we're like forgetting. Like, oh, we forgot
We do need
to
to
do
get back
that.
on our video game.
We should do more music videos.
Yeah, we should do more music
Oh, a
videos.
music
Yeah,
video.
We should
That's-
do a full-length
yeah,
music
that's a
video.
good idea.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do next year.
Yeah,
You heard it here
Decided.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
decided. Let's do it.
Let's see if we can get ours out before this comes out.
Okay.
That will not happen.
That's not gonna happen.
That will definitely will not happen.
One thing I'll plug is we self-produced our album. If you want to have me mix your album,
Oh, there you
or
go.
come
Yeah,
to my
plug
house and
yourself.
record,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that for you. So get in touch.
Yeah, we have a cute basement.
Yeah.
It
New
sounds
couch?
really good.
Wait,
Yeah,
sorry.
there's a couch in the basement now.
Got a couch you can sit
for
down.
now.
You don't just have to stand and play your instrument.
Yeah, you can sit. You can be seated while you record. I think I just want to plug like going outside and like taking a nice walk and like looking around and noticing things.
Yeah. And on that note of going outside, go to shows like Alex. It's,
Yeah,
you
that's-
go to way more shows than I do. And
Yeah,
I
you go
respect
to a lot
that,
of
and
shows
I
than
need to
that.
get back on my
Yeah.
show going game. It's good to go to shows and see. What's
I was
happening
thinking
out
about
there.
this the other day. I was like, it is kind of bad when like the only shows you go to are ones you're playing.
That's
like
terrible.
that
You
is
don't
really
want that to be the
terrible.
case,
And
yeah.
that has kind of been us recently. So like literally it's better than playing a show. Like to support local music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like it's a better way
To
to do
support
it.
the
Yeah.
scene, yeah, definitely.
What's up? We're called Hey I'm Outside.
We put out a record in 2024.
And you can listen to it everywhere that you listen to music.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah.
What about having people eat like spicy food?
I thought about it and I decided I hated it really fast.
More churches.